Hi guys, so this video is going to be about completing the square. Okay, now it's a method that we learned about um, in class about quadratics. Okay, so here's the deal. It is all about finding that perfect number. That way we can kind of make this standard form a little bit easier. So these come out to be nice numbers because it's factorable, but I want to focus on this method, this complete the square. Okay, so we're going to try to figure out, I'm going to just also change these to x's. What number would I go here in this box that I can make this a perfect square? Okay, now there's a method to figure out exactly what number it is. You take b divided by 2 and then square that number. So in this case, -2 divided by 2 and square it, so it's -1 squared, which is going to be +1. Okay, now this typed equation is a perfectly balanced scale. I altered that balance by going from -80 to +1. I added 81. Now, so I added 81 to the left side. I got to rebalance my equation by adding 81 to the right. Okay, so that's important so that my equations stay balanced. Okay, now the entire point is so that way I can rewrite this first red line in terms of one quantity squared. So the number is going to be x minus 1 because -1 plus -1 is -2 and -1 times -1 is +1. So that way, once it's rewritten, because technically this is almost in vertex form, I can then take the square root to get rid of the squared and the square root. So x minus 1 equals plus or minus 9. And because there's two symbols, I'm going to split them apart and solve each one as a separate equation. So I add the 1 over, I get 10. I add the 1 over, I get -8. And so here's my two answers for that first example. Okay. Now, number 2 is very similar, except the only difference is that I have this -8 on the right-hand side. Now, that really doesn't matter. Okay. So the question is, what number should go in this box so that's a perfect square? So again, b divided by 2 and then square it. So 14 over 2 and square it. So 7 squared is 49. That's the number that goes in that box. Now I altered the scale to go from 37 to 49. I added 12. So I'm going to do the same thing to the right hand side, but -8 plus 12 is +4. The entire point of this is so I can now rewrite my left hand side in terms of one perfect square, and I'm going to use this 7 to do it. It's x plus 7 because 7 plus 7 is 14 and 7 times 7 is 49. I take the square root of both sides to get rid of that squared. I get x plus 7 equals plus or minus 2. And now two signs means two equations. So a positive and a negative. So when I subtract the 7 over, I get -5 as an answer. I subtract it over, I get -9 as an answer. All right, so there's a quick video on complete the square. If you have questions, let me know.